Slave Narratives, Richard Toller. Age, approximately 100 years old. Cincinnati, Ohio. I never fit in the wall. No, sir, I couldn't. My belly's been broke, but I sure did want to. And I wanted to be examined, but they didn't receive me on account of my broken stomach. But I sure tried, 'cause I wanted to be free. I didn't like to be no slave, and that wasn't good times. I never had no good times till I was free. I was born on Master's Toller's plantation down in old Virginia, near Lynchburg in Campbell County. My pappy was a slave before me, and my mammy too. His name was George Washington Toller, and hers was Lucy Toller. We took our name from our owner, and we lived in a cabin back of the big house, me and my pappy and my mammy and my two brothers. They never mistreated me neither. They used to whipping the slaves all the time, but I run away all the time. And I just if they whip me, I'd cut 'em. And I never did get a whipping. If I thought one was coming to me, I'd hide in the woods, and they'd send after me, and they'd say, "Come on back, we won't whip you." But they killed some niggas, whipped them to death. I guess they killed about 3 or 4 in Toller's place while I was there. I never went to school. Learned to read and write my name after I was free in night school, but they never allowed us to have a book in our hand, and we couldn't have no money neither. If we had money, we had to turn it over to our owner. Church was not allowed in our pat neither. I go to Methodist church now. Everybody ought to. I think religion must be fine, 'cause God Almighty is at the head of it. I never could understand about ghosts, though. Never did see one. Lots of folk tell about seeing ghosts, but I never feared 'em. I was never raised up under such superstitious believings. We was never allowed no parties, and when we had goings on at the big house, we had to clear out. I had to work hard all the time, every day in the week. Had to mend the cows and calves, and when I got older, I had to hoe in the field. Master Toller had about 500 acres, so they tell me, and he had a lot of cows and hoses and oxen. He was a bigger farmer. I've done about everything in my life. Blacksmith and stonemason, carpenter, everything but bricklaying. I was a blacksmith here for 36 years. Learned it down at Toller's. I stayed on the plantation during the war and just did what they told me. I was 21 then, and I walked 50 miles to vote for Daniel Grant at Vaughan's precinct. I voted for him in 2 sessions. He run twice, and I was 21st the first time, 'cause they come and got me and say, "Come on now, you can vote. You was 21. And they are now, my age is right there. About as close as you can get it. I was close to the battlefront. I see all of them famous men. See Daniel Lee and Grant and Abe Lincoln. Seen John Brown and seen the 7 men that was hung with him. But we wasn't allowed to talk to any of them. Just looked on in the street, just spoke. He said, "Howdy do." But I did talk to Lincoln, and I told him I wanted to be free, and he was a fine man, 'cause he made us all free. And I got an old history. It's the Sanford American History. It was published in 1784, but I don't know where it is. I misplaced it. It was printed in the book. Some said, "Now written by hand," and it says, "I am an old slave which has survived for 21 years, and would be quite pleased if you could help us to be free. We thank you very much. I trust that someday I can do you the same privilege that you are doing for me." I've been a slave for many years. After the war, I came to Cincinnati, was married 3 times. My first wife was Manny, and there was Molly. They both died. And then I was married Cora Haya, and I had 6 children, 1 girl and 4 boys. They had 2 living yet. James is 70 and he is not married, and Bob is about 30 or 40. I done lost all my resemblance. Too old now. But Molly died when he was born, and he is crazy. He is out of Longview now for a while. He just wanders around and walks a little. He harmless. He won't hurt nobody. He ain't married neither. After the war, I bought a fiddle, and I was a good fiddler. Used to be a fiddler for the white girls to dance. Just picked it up. It was a natural gift. I could still play if I had a fiddle. I used to play at hoedowns too. Played all those old time songs, Soldier's Door, Jimmy Long Josie, Arkansas Traveler, and Black Eyed Susie. Before the war, we never had no good times. They took good care of us, though, as particular with slave as with the stock. That was their money, you know. And if we claimed being sick, they'd give us a dose of castor oil and turpentine. That was their principal medicine colored folk had to take, and sometimes salts. But never no whiskey. That was not allowed. And if he was real sick, they had a doctor for us. We had very bad eating. Bread, meat, water, and they fed it to us in trough, just like hogs. And I went in my shirt till I was 16. Never had no clothes. And the floor in our cabin was dirt. And at night we just take a blanket and lay down on the floor. And the dog was superior to us. They would take him into the house. Some of the people I belonged to was in the Ku Klux Klan. Told I had 4 girls and 4 boys. Some of those boys belonged. I used to see them turn out, and they went round whipping niggers. They get young girls and strip them stark naked, and put them across barrels and whip them till the blood run out of them, and then they would put salt into raw pants. And I seen it, and it was as bloody around them as if they stuck hogs. I sure was glad I ain't a slave no more. Thank God I lived past the years until the day of 1937. I'm happy and satisfied now, and I hopes to see a million years to come.
Slavery had its purpose and its roots, but it doesn't make it any less vile. Now, you might notice that Richard Toller had it a little better off than probably a lot of other slaves, because he avoided the whippings by running in the woods and hiding until his masters, workers, his field hands told him, alright, we're not going to whip you, just come out and work, and nothing's going to happen. But he still had to deal with the dehumanization and the oppression of his race for the sake of cheap labor. Now, his work ethic was good. He only ever hid in the woods when he had to, or when he was going to get whipped. But he always came back out because he never tried to run away, so maybe he felt some sort of attachment to where he was coming from, or he just didn't have anywhere to go, so he always felt like he had to stay. But I don't think that he was really begrudging his master. I feel like he just didn't like that he didn't have his own way. He just kind of had to work. But I mean, running away never was a thought that crossed his mind. He only ever ran and hid in the woods until they'd calm down. So I think that he had it better off than most people, but he still didn't like the conditions he was going through, but he was kind of forced himself through them because he didn't have anywhere to go.